Ever feel like you're stuck? Like you're just spinning your wheels, like you're capable of way more, but something's holding you back. Well, get ready, because in this deep dive, we're tackling change head on.
Yeah.
We're talking about breaking free from those comfy little ruts we find ourselves in and embracing, well, everything that comes with change.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, change can be exhilarating, a little bit terrifying at times,
Right.
but always, always for the better.
It is. It is.
We're diving into Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes by Phoenix Rising. And let me tell you, this ebook does not mess around.
It doesn't. This is not your typical self-help book. This one, it cuts right to the chase. It dives deep into the psychology behind change,
Yeah.
And it makes a really good point that it's not enough to just want to change. Like, we have to understand what's going on in our mind.
Right.
What are the thought patterns, the habits that are actually keeping us stuck?
So true. It's like going beyond those surface level, new year, new me kind of promises.
Exactly. Exactly.
And digging a little deeper.
Right.
So where do we even begin with all of this?
That's the thing. They talk a lot about self-awareness in this book. That's like the first key, right? It's
Yes.
about really shining a light on the subconscious patterns, the routines, the things that we do without even realizing it that are, kind of running the show.
It's like becoming a detective in your own life.
It is. It is.
I love that. So do we need a magnifying glass? A little notebook? How do we do this?
Well, Phoenix Rising has this great exercise called Introduce Yourself to Yourself.
Okay.
Grab a pen and paper. I'm serious. You can pause this right now and do it and just start jotting down all your daily habits.
Okay.
Everything big and small. Don't overthink it. Just let it flow.
I did it. So I'm looking at my list here.
Yeah.
Daily coffee order check. Hitting the snooze button way too many times.
Right.
It's actually kind of eye-opening already.
It is. Now the real detective work starts, right?
Okay.
So look at each one of those habits that you wrote down and ask yourself, why? Why are you doing that? What need is that third snooze button really fulfilling? Is it rest, or is it, are you avoiding starting your day?
Right.
Be really brutally honest with yourself.
It's like we're trying to uncover those hidden motivations.
Yes.
The real reasons we do the things we do. It starts to feel a little less comfortable here, doesn't it?
It does, and that's what this book encourages. Brutal honesty, but not in a mean way to yourself. Just to say, look, this is where I'm at, so I can move forward.
Yeah.
And another great tip they have in the book, ask 3 close friends for 3 words they would use to describe you.
Ooh, that's good. It's like getting a 360 view of yourself.
Exactly.
From those who know you best, and honestly, maybe sometimes not our best side.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be surprising.
Right.
And a little humbling.
But so valuable, because think about it, they are like mirrors, right? And sometimes those blind spots are the things that are holding us back the most.
Totally. Okay, so we've taken a good hard look at our habits. We've gotten brutally honest with ourselves.
Yes.
Maybe even reached out to a friend or two for a little reality check. What's next on this whole transformation journey?
This is where the book introduces this idea of mindset, and specifically, fixed versus growth mindset.
Okay, I've heard those terms thrown around before.
Right.
But honestly, a little refresher never hurts.
Never hurts.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so imagine 2 people, right? Let's call them, I don't know, Maya and Mark. So Maya has this growth mindset.
Okay.
She sees a challenge and she's like, awesome, opportunity to learn, to grow.
There's a Maya.
Right. No, Mark, poor Mark, stuck in that fixed mindset.
Uh-oh.
He sees that same challenge and he's like, nope, not good at that. I'm going to fail.
Poor Mark. He's already defeated before he's even begun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the book really argues that this growth mindset is so essential to creating any kind of lasting change. And the great news is our brains are already wired for this.
Okay.
It's called neuroplasticity.
I've heard that term before, but it sounds a little science-y.
It's really not. Basically, think of your brain like a muscle, right?
Okay.
The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. You're never too old. You're never too stuck to learn something new or change a bad habit.
I love that.
Yeah.
So no matter what our mindset is right now, we have the power to kind of reshape it.
Exactly. Reshape, rewire those neural pathways. We have that power.
I love that.
And one little hack that the book mentions that's super, super simple but surprisingly effective is just adding the word yet to those limiting beliefs.
The power of yet. Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so let's say you're trying to learn a new skill and you catch yourself thinking, ugh, I'm terrible at this.
Right, the self-doubt creeps in.
Exactly. Just add the word yet at the end. I'm terrible at this. Yet.
It's subtle, but it completely changes the tone
It does.
because it becomes less of like a finite statement
Yeah,
and more of a challenge.
exactly. It acknowledges where you are,
Right.
but implies there's room for growth.
I love that. It's like that classic story about Michael Jordan being cut from his high school basketball team.
Exactly. And he's like the best. Right.
Right.
It just shows you, even the most successful people, they face rejection, they have setbacks,
It's so true.
but it's how they respond that makes all the difference.
Right. It becomes fuel.
Yes.
It's that thing that lights the fire.
Motivation to work even harder.
It's a good reminder that what we perceive as failures are really just setups
Yeah.
for massive growth if we choose to see them that way.
If we choose, yeah. And that brings us to the next chapter of what we're going to talk about, which
Okay.
is the power of habits.
You okay?
Because mindset is important, but it's our habits, those small little actions that we do day in and day out.
Yes.
Those are the things that really shape our lives.
I'm ready to unlock the secrets of habits. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Think about this. Habits, they're like these invisible architects, Like they're silently shaping our lives with every little thing we do every single day.
So if our lives are like a house, our habits are the bricks and mortar.
Yes, exactly. And just like a house that's, not built so well,
Right.
bad habits, they can create cracks in our foundation,
Oh, I like that.
leading to, stress, frustration, feeling stuck.
Makes sense.
The book breaks down how habits work. You know that loop? Like
Yeah.
cue, routine, reward.
Okay, give me an example. I'm trying to visualize this.
Okay, so imagine it's been a long day. You're stressed and you just automatically your hand is in the chip bag.
Oh, every time. Stress eating at its finest.
Right. So the
Oh.
cue is the stress, the routine is that mindless snacking, and the reward, temporary relief, right?
Right, but the thing is, and we all know this deep down, that bag of chips isn't really solving the problem.
No, not at all.
It's just a quick fix,
Band-Aid.
Exactly.
And it might actually make us feel worse later.
Totally.
But that's why, understanding that habit loop, that cue, routine, reward is so powerful because
Yes.
once you see it,
You can just start to interrupt it.
So how do we do that? How do we ditch the chip bag and actually create healthier habits?
Well, they have this whole framework in the book,
Okay.
and it's based on these 4 things.
Uh-huh.
Making it obvious, making it attractive, making it easy, and making it satisfying.
All right, I'm intrigued. Break that down for me.
Okay, so let's say you want to meditate every day.
Okay.
Instead of just being like, oh yeah, I should meditate,
Right.
make it obvious. Put your meditation cushion right there in the middle of your living room,
I love it.
out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yes.
So make it impossible to ignore.
Okay.
Now, to make it attractive, pair it with something else you enjoy. Maybe light a candle, put on some music you like.
Okay, so we're setting the mood, basically.
Exactly. Create a little experience.
I love it.
And then make it easy. Start small.
Okay.
You don't have to go from 0 to Zen master.
Right.
Start with 5 minutes and build up from there.
It's all about consistency.
Right.
Just those small steps. Consistency is key. And then lastly, to make it satisfying, find ways to reward yourself.
Okay.
So after you meditate, maybe you treat yourself to a cup of tea or you write down how you feel, something to solidify that habit.
So it's like creating that positive feedback loop.
Exactly. Those small rewards, they really do make a difference.
They do, but we know we're human.
Yes.
We're not going to be perfect at this whole habit change thing.
Never.
There are going to be setbacks.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do we deal with those?
This is where self-compassion comes in.
Okay.
The book talks a lot about this because it's so easy to beat ourselves up when we mess up.
Totally. Yeah.
But it's that's part of the process.
It's part of it.
It's a journey, not a destination.
I love that.
There's going to be detours, wrong turns.
Bumps in the road.
Exactly. But those are all opportunities to learn and grow.
So it's really about how we choose to respond to those moments.
It's all about the response. View those setbacks as information, not a failure.
Oh.
Adjust your approach if you need to and get back on track.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Yes, 100%. And that actually leads us perfectly into this idea of resilience.
Resilience. The ability to bounce back from all those curveballs life throws at us. I think we could all use a little more of that, honestly.
Right. And you know what? The book makes a really good point.
Okay.
Resilience, it's not something you're born with.
Okay.
It's a skill. You can learn it.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Tell
me more.
So they break it down into 6 key components: mindset, acceptance, support, self-care, purpose, and flexibility.
Wow, that's quite the list.
No.
Can we dig into those a little bit?
Sure.
Like, I'm especially curious about flexibility. How does that play into resilience?
Okay, so picture like a willow tree.
Okay.
The wind blows, right? The branches bend and sway, but the tree, it stays strong.
Right, right.
It weathers the storm.
It adapts.
Exactly. And then you have like an oak tree, super strong and sturdy,
Yeah.
but sometimes that rigidity, it can work against it.
It can snap under pressure.
Exactly. So it's about being more like the willow.
Okay, I'm liking this analogy.
Right. Be flexible, adapt, go with the flow.
Ride the waves.
Yes. And that brings us to another really interesting point.
Oh.
The power of our relationships.
Okay, interesting. I want to hear more about this. How do relationships play into all of this?
Yeah.
We talk a lot about personal responsibility and the work we do on ourselves, but the people around us, the relationships we have, they matter too, don't they?
They really do. I mean, they have a bigger impact than we realize sometimes. And Phoenix Rising, they use this term energy vampires versus mood boosters.
Ooh, okay. I think I know where we're going with this, but
Yeah.
tell me more.
Okay, so we've all met them, right? The energy vampires, the people who just, you're drained after talking to them.
Oh, yeah.
Every ounce of energy gone.
Yeah.
And then there are the mood boosters.
Right.
Those people, like, they light you up.
Yes. You feel amazing. You feel like you can conquer the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what this book is saying is that we have a choice
Okay.
in who we let influence us, who we let kind of take up space in our lives, you know?
So it's about being mindful of those relationships.
Yes. And it's not necessarily about like cutting people out, but
Okay.
setting boundaries,
Yeah.
prioritizing your own well-being.
So surrounding yourself with more of those mood boosters, the people who just lift you up.
Yes. It's like building a support system.
Yeah, your team for this whole change your life thing.
Exactly, exactly. And, you know, they even talk about this study in the book from Harvard.
All right.
They followed this group of men for 75 years. 75 years.
Wow.
And they were trying to figure out, like, what is the biggest predictor of happiness?
Okay. Yeah, what is it? I got to know.
You know what it was.
What?
Relationships.
Really?
Strong relationships. Not money, not fame.
It's connection.
Connection. It all comes back to that, which is really powerful.
That is powerful. So it's not just about finding those people. It's also about being that person for others. Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes you realize we're not in this alone, right?
You're not alone.
We're meant to support each other.
It makes a difference. And speaking of supporting each other,
Yeah.
the ebook, it also digs into this idea of working smarter, not harder.
Okay, yes, that is something I think we can all get behind because we hear so much about hustle culture.
Right, right. Always on the go.
But what does that actually look like, working smarter, according to this book?
One of the big things they talk about is the 80-20 rule.
Okay, I've heard of that. The Pareto principle?
Exactly. Basically, 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts.
So it's all about finding that 20%,
Find that 20% and really hone in on that.
the things that actually move the needle.
Exactly. Exactly. Prioritize.
It's about saying no to the things that don't really matter.
Yes. Say no to the distractions.
Easier said than done, but so important.
It is. It is. But when you do it, oh, it feels good.
It does. It's freeing.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how do we sustain these changes? How do we avoid that whole New Year's resolution thing where we're like gung-ho for a couple of weeks and then...
Right. And then it fizzles out.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the book, it reminds us that it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's those small steps.
Right.
And, you know, self-compassion is huge here.
Yes.
Give yourself a break. You're going to mess up.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. But that doesn't mean you failed.
Right. It's not all or nothing.
Exactly. It's about progress.
I love that.
And they have some great tips. Find an accountability buddy. Track your progress.
Oh, I love that. Write it down.
Celebrate the wins.
Yes. Celebrate every little victory.
Because it all matters.
It does. It creates that positive reinforcement, right?
Yes, exactly. You're building that momentum.
I love that.
And it all comes back to that core message. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a call to action, you know?
Yeah.
You have the power to create the life that you want.
Yes.
But you got to take action.
You have to actually do something about it.
Exactly. Even those small steps.
It's those little things done consistently over time.
Yes, 100%. Those are the things that lead to big change.
It's been an incredible deep dive into this whole world of personal change.
It has. It has.
If you had to leave our listeners with just one thought, one thing to take away from all of this, what would it be?
You know, embrace the journey.
Okay.
Because change, it can be messy, it can be hard, it can even be a little scary at times,
Right.
but it's also incredible. It's empowering, and it's the path to, creating a life that you love.
I love that. Embrace the journey. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes by Phoenix Rising.
Fantastic book.
So good. Remember, you have the power to change your life.
You do.
Now go out there and make it happen.